Hi friends and fellow Earth Angels, it's Gladys, and welcome back to another one of my weekly Sunday card readings. And this spread will start by covering May 15th through the 21st, or whenever you're guided to watch, as I always intend these to be timeless readings, meaning whenever this video shows up for you, that is the time that the messages are meant for you. Welcome. So I want to use the word swimming into let me get this straight, a full moon total eclipse in Scorpio. So it is an intensification or personification in energy, and it is known as the blood moon. So this would be a really great week to release any grudges, any resentments to the moon, to the lunar eclipse energy. It's a really good time to reflect on just how we've shown up, and if we want to make any adjustments, checking in with your energy. I know I personally have been well aware of my own discord and discomforts, which has been a beautiful thing because I'm aware of it. I can adjust it, I can shift it, I can process it, I can pray on it. And what it does is, as I lean into any worries or fears or doubts that come up, and again, it's all good, it's all based on change and growth, and I think it's just natural to practice discernment, right? As part of being human here. But if you can lean into those discomforts, if you can lean into who am I, maybe it's a situation, maybe it's an experience with a person, how can you lean into it and ask those questions? Well, who am I because of this? What have I learned from it? And then how do I move forward? And these are inquiry questions for the divine. It's not necessarily meant for your mind to figure out. It's for you to open space and invite in support and messages and guidance, right? With how to move forward and navigate these energies. So I want to read a little bit. So I work with Yasmin Boland's Moonology information. So I want to read a little bit about this moon. It can be really helpful. So let's see. The first idea that springs to mind looking at this eclipse is to let go. Let go of all of the, and then it just says ... So I would say baloney. Let go of whatever upset and angst you're holding on to. Let go of resentment and fear. Let go of anyone or anything you're clinging on to for dear life. It says release the number one thing you're scared to release. It could be finances, it could be a relationship, it could be a bill, it could be wanting to call in a partnership, it could be your body, your weight, it could be a job. There's so many aspects, right? It could also be an emotion, a feeling, doubt, worry, fear, discomfort. Again, release the number one thing that you're scared to release, not just because if you let it go and it comes back, it's yours. And if it doesn't, it probably was never meant to be, as the old saying goes, but also because every now and then we have to look at where we've developed a toxic attachment or fear, and we need to work through it. So this full moon is brilliant for giving us a safe space to process our fears. One of the best ways to do this is through the process of tapping. If you've ever done EFT, that is great. It says full moons are always a time to let go, and this one even more so since it's an eclipse in the sign of Scorpio. Scorpio energy symbolizes that we can sometimes hold on to something rather grudgingly. So if there are any resentments or if there are any grudges, it could be with your own self. Being able to take stock in the full moon this week and being able to sit with it. You're going to see it. It's going to be bright in the sky. Again, it's a blood moon, and to dive deeper into this, some of the channels that I really enjoy following on YouTube is Astrology with Heather. She's phenomenal in being able to break down what's going on with the stars, let's say, under each individual sign, which is what I love the most. And then also Tanya Gabrielle and Molly McCord. There are some really great astrologers that can break down this information even further if you're feeling the effects of it. So I want to share how I work with the moon energy, but they're also really phenomenal astrologers and astronumerologists that will get into it deeper for you. All right, so we're going to do a reading this week working with the Keepers of the Light deck. Your message of healing will come from Mystical Wisdom cards. Your action steps this week will come from the Oracle of the Unicorns. What you're being gifted with this week will come from the numerology guidance cards. And then we'll finish with a message of love from the Healing Energy Oracle. I'm going to start by opening up space. Let me invite in all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that would like to assist with this guidance for us this week to support us in this energy of May 15th through the 21st. I want to connect my heart to the heart of the Keepers of the Light in this oracle deck. And I'm going to ask that the messages that come through be for your best and highest good, and the best and highest good of all concerned. Good stuff. I also have my rainbow moonstone here. It's an intuitive, beautiful, divine feminine energy. This was a gift recently, and I absolutely love rainbow moonstone. And the person who gifted it with me did not know that it is one of my favorites, which made it even more special. And then I have my rose quartz here to bring in the energy of love. Again, we're doing a flushing out this week. If you're feeling hot and spicy, it's all good. Just breathe through it, lean into it. There is wisdom. I call it parts of our shadow self, those parts that we're not necessarily proud of. Maybe again, I might have talked about this last week, feeling the control, feeling the doubt, feeling the anxiety, the anxiousness. It's all information for you. And if you can be open to curiosity, if you can be open to hearing and feeling that, there's always wisdom there for you. This is what it's the process of being a powerful being of light here on this planet. There's all the answers are within us at every given moment, and we're really learning how to stop, look, and listen. I think that's what we learned. Well, I remember I learned as a kid, like crossing the street. Stop, look both sides, and listen. What's coming. I just feel like that's a great analogy. That's so cool. Like when we're going to take action or going to go forward, remember we're in a Pluto retrograde energy, which is all about power empowerment, and also Mercury retrograde, which is the communication, right? Travel, electronics, things like that. So I feel like before we run ahead, we want to stop, look, and listen. And if something's not feeling right, get out of Dodge. I had plans to meet some friends in the city, and we drove into the city, and it was insanely busy where we were going. And Nick and I looked at each other and we were like, yeah, this is not for us. This is not our scene. It's great that we're both in that same stream of consciousness where, being in a large crowds and a lot of energy is not necessarily for us. So pivoting this week is really wonderful. If this isn't working out, pivot into something else. All right, Keepers of the Light. What is the most important guide that wants to work with us this week? What message do you have for us to support us? There we go. See, wait for it to pop out. Now let's begin. Odin, psychic insight. So your third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. Again, I just feel like navigating this week in the present. This may not be a week for strict plans. And just as I had mentioned, Nick and I were driving around looking for a parking spot, and it was a Friday afternoon in the city at not in the afternoon, it was like 6 o'clock, and everybody was out in this area, and we were both just looking at each other equally. This doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel like, we don't feel like this is for us. And we could literally feel the energy pushing us out. And it was really great to have that support of each other. And then where we ended up, it was great. It all worked out, and it ended up being a really great night. And I just feel like when you're in tune with how you're feeling, when you're in tune with the present moment, that your guides, especially Odin, will give you insight on where to navigate. I just see I've been using the word pivot lately, meaning like you get to like kind of like a hard angle and you want to kind of like going out and it's not necessarily working. You just kind of want to adjust. I just feel like we're kind of moving in a zigzag kind of energy, or back and forth energy. I was watching crabs run around. The water was really low on one of my walks, and the crabs were running back and forth and literally sideways. And it was just funny how they were moving forward while moving sideways. So maybe you'll feel that crab energy this week, like you're going back and forth, but you are moving forward. And so Odin is encouraging you to trust your feeling body, your insights. If, you made plans and it just doesn't feel like it's going to work out, or there's a lot of resistance, just being able to take a deep breath and make an adjustment, right? Being able to pivot. That's going to be important this week. All right, Odin. I also feel like sometimes when energies are intense and there's a lot of a vibrational pull, we can get confused and doubt our insight or doubt the wisdom that's coming, and override that. If something doesn't feel right about a situation, and for me, when something doesn't feel right, my stomach starts to get like a sick feeling, or honestly, overall, I get super anxious. I feel really jittery in my chest, and it's just like a resistance. And again, it doesn't always mean no forever. It's just going within and just checking to say, okay, what is this about? Is it a people-pleasing thing? Is there a need that I need to take care of right now for myself? How can I breathe? How can I pause? How can I pull back a little bit and go within and ask, what do I need to know about this? So I'm also feeling I'm seeing the message of the importance of staying aligned and connected to your guides. So Odin can be a guide this week, but your angels, your loved ones, father, mother, love, like this would be a really great week to invite them in. Archangel Michael, right? The angel of protection, Archangel Raphael, the angel of miracles and healing. Again, I just see that there could be some resistance, but it doesn't necessarily have the bad things. So we set out with plans to meet friends, and it didn't work out, and I'm grateful that I have friends who understand anxiety and introversion and being around chaotic energy. They were very supportive, and they totally got it, which is great. It's nice to have mutually supportive people, and obviously we'll make plans in the future on something that's maybe a little more low-key. But anyway, I think it's really important to stay in touch with your guides this week and invite them in if you're getting ready to go out, right? Call in the Archangel Michael, ask him for assistance. Again, being in tune when if you're feeling the pull to leave 15 minutes early, and yet you usually leave later, but you're ready and it's time to go. This would be a really great week to practice that flux and flow and being in tune. And I have to say, where we ended up, the place we ended up, we got there and there was one table left in the restaurant and it was just all perfectly timed. So instead of getting frustrated and annoyed by it, we just went with it and it ended up being a really great night. So this is how you can really shift things, right? And you can also, if this is what you do normally or regularly, you can teach that to others that you're with, right? The earth angels are wonderful teachers on this planet. So it can be something that as you do that, you become a role model and you teach others how to be in that flow with life. All right, Odin, what message of healing do you have for the earth angels this week? What message of healing do you have for the earth angels this week? I don't always know if I'm shuffling on camera here. Here we go. See it pop out? So here's the thing too. This energy is dense. It's great because it gives us an opportunity to dot our I's, cross our T's, double check, slow down, things like that. But also too, if you are used to intuition and things being quick, my whole life is listening to my intuition. It's my work, right? So, but I have noticed like shuffling cards, it takes a little longer for them to pop out. And certainly I know I'm on camera and the time is clicking, so there's this impatience in me that's like, all right, come on already. But you might notice that things that are usually like quick and easy, it might require a little more time, which teaches me patience. I don't know if you also need to work on patience. So I just added that extra intention, like, okay, it's taking a little longer. So my intention was to make it loud and clear when the time was right. And then boom, it popped out. So I just kind of want to share that as well, because that's kind of coming up with, again, if you have a natural way of doing things and it seems a little hazy, foggy, challenging, it's not necessarily you, but the energy that we're in, which again is all good. It's just practicing that navigation of flow. So your message of healing is learn from those who inspire you. I love that. So legends is the message of healing this week. Let me pause on that for a minute. So what I'm seeing here is this person is in a space of observation, right? So this friend is bending down, it looks like to gift, and this person is in a place of observation, and this person is in an observation. So learn from those who inspire you. So you might have hiccups and bumps. The energies you're working with this week might feel a little murky. And observing might be super beneficial. You may observe how somebody navigates something. You might observe how people talk. You may observe maybe somebody's going through a difficult situation, or they're under the gun for something, or they are, that sounded a little abrasive, under the gun, cancel, delete that. They're under pressure for something and they happen to just move through it in a dignified way, an inspirational way. So I'm feeling like observing this week, observing people. Really try to observe without judgment, right? We may learn new ways. And so earth angels have a tendency to be leaders in their lives where they're good at what they do, they're good at the job, they're head of families, they have the knowledge, they have the wisdom, but that doesn't mean we know it all, right? So this could be a week where we may learn something from the people that are around us that we least expect. So when I think about legends, so Maya Angelou is like a legend to me. The way she moved through life, the way she overcame, the way she showed up to support people without having to show up to support people. she was very regal in a sense of she listened to the call of the heart, and she shared so generously the wisdom that flowed through her. And so when I look at her or I've seen her speak, it's effortless to a degree. There's this natural peace about her. And so this is what I mean about if there's something you're struggling with or there's something you're holding on to, being able to be open to support. And maybe you see something that comes up on YouTube and the way somebody speaks or the way that they approach something. I feel like the universe wants to send you golden nuggets. The divine wants to intervene this week. And so, and again, which is part of the lessons, learn from those who inspire you. And again, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be put on a pedestal, that they have to be some celebrity. It could just be somebody in your community that just shows up every day to something or takes care of somebody in some way. I see this so often in my line of work, and it's very humbling. So, and then I also feel like we can learn the energy of gifting. And again, these energies are so different. And then we have the divine up here. I see this as a symbolism of the divine watching over it all. So rise above this week. You know, like I said, you might feel murky. Odin is saying there's nothing wrong. You know, your intuition and your third eye is open. It can just seem like almost like murky water, like trying to see in the fog and see in the haze. And so you're really going to need to pull back and go with that inspirational pull, the call of the heart. And you may find yourself at the right place at the right time. People might surprise you this week, right? If you can't detach from getting caught up. So the action steps. This is usually an affirmation, a word and an affirmation. So this is the unicorn, Oracle of the Unicorns. What action steps can you take this week to support your healing? To support your journey, to support yourself this week? Oh, there's two, so I'm going to take them. Courage, right? Courage to make change. It says, you are safe. Fear is an illusion. Set strong boundaries. Yes. And I have to say, like I said, there could be adversity in this. You could learn from somebody who inspires you, who might be challenging, who might move through life in a different way. Why do these look? Why do they look? There we go. So I was speaking about this in the beginning, where when fears come up or doubts come up or insecurities, again, it can happen even with really good things happen. It can happen with growth and with change and needing to make decisions. Again, with the energy being murky, it doesn't mean not do it, but you want to practice discernment. You want to dot your I's, cross your T's, review things. You may have to redo things just to make sure that it's secure and stable and solid, whatever that is. But having the courage to lean in, especially as the dynamics of relationships might come up this week. As I see the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, the full moon, right? Anything that needs to be flushed out. As we set intention, so the Taurus Moon, the Taurus new moon was really about finances. It was kind of like the bull energy. So you may be making adjustments. You may have taken a leap of faith. And so now all your intentions are out there. They're out there in the ethers. Nick and I picked some dandelions the other day, and we blew our wishes and our attentions out there. And we're kind of just leaving it up to the divine to show us the way. And so when the opportunities and the doors open, it's going to activate fears, insecurities. I have a tendency to have cold feet faster. I have a tendency to need to be like, let's say, I have a tendency to need a lot of information in order for me to make a decision, which is good. It's that part of making discernment instead of like jumping into something. But I do need that courage to look at my own stuff of like where this discomfort, where this resistance, where this confusion or overwhelm or anxiety is coming from. And, I've done a lot of self-healing work, inner work, so I can follow the pathway to where that comes from and communicate that. So you may need that courage this week with anything that's coming up that's uncomfortable. You might have to have a conversation. You might need to speak up, especially where it says set strong boundaries. What happens with Earth Angels have a tendency to set boundaries, but then we can easily be coerced or we can easily or unknowingly be like pushed and pulled in a direction that is not in alignment with our desires. So again, if you're feeling, and if we do things after we've set a boundary, it can create resentments and frustrations. So you really want to stick to what you feel is right by your own accord. And I just feel like you'll need that courage this week to practice discernment and know the difference. So your other action step is expansion. Wow, that's a beautiful card. It says spread your wings and soar, right? Share your message and shine your light. Show the world what you're made of. And so as you work in this energy, you then expand. And I say this so often that when we're putting the intentions out there, when we're growing, when we're aligning, when we're creating with energy, which is so fun, anything that's not a vibrational match needs to come up and out. And I feel like this is kind of the duality of the energy. We kind of need to show up to when we're not feeling safe, or when we're looking at fears like, oh, don't do this or don't do that, or all the bad things that could happen. You want to pause and just practice discernment, knowing that you can get to that place of expansion if all parts of you are on board, if you're communicating from a space of love to others. All right, let's see here. So what are you being gifted with this week? Odin, Keepers of the Light. What are the Earth Angels being gifted with this week? Can I see there's two? Oopsie. Love partnership. Card number 8. It's an abundance number. So this could be literal love partnership. It could be a depth or an increase. I mean, I have love partnerships in all aspects. I mean, I have love partnerships in love with clients, with friends, with my neighbors, with my romantic partner, with my family, with myself. So you may be gifted with mutually supportive, loving people. Again, if things flush out of your life, know that it's probably coming because you're expanding and you're aligning in different ways. So you're being gifted with a love partnership this week. So again, I want you to just be aware of how that can come in. It could be a connection. It could be somebody that shows up. Maybe you're part of a group. Maybe you're part of an online thing and people show up. I know the churches that I'm affiliated with. I don't do any work for them, but I enjoy going to their services. They have groups they call crew teams, crew members, and they're groups. Like, people have a topic that they enjoy. Some crew teams talk about the service that happened on Sunday. Others, they'll meet at an ice cream shop or a food place, or they'll go to each other's homes, and they'll talk about God, they'll talk about Jesus, they'll talk about love. So I would say be open to different kinds of partnerships this week. And then the other one is music, of course. Card number 5. So you're being gifted with music. So the messages and guidance can come to you through music. So if you are struggling this week, being able to turn on the radio or ask the angels for some support through music. Angel Sandalphon is the angel of music, and he's really great about getting messages. Say we're praying about something, or we need insight on something. Sandalphon is really wonderful. His name means brother. He's really wonderful to get a message to us across through music. You might have a connection to a loved one that's passed on, and you might hear their favorite song. You might be a musician yourself. This could be getting back to the music, could be a message for you. And then there was one more thing I forgot with music. Oh, if you're a clairaudient, you might wake up with music or songs in your head. You might have a dream with music. Those are all messages to support you this week. So I feel like you're being gifted with guidance through music as well. And remember, that can be certainly, but if you never turn on the radio or we're not in the present moment, let's say you're in the car and you're asking for guidance, but you're upstairs in the mind so far in the future and the past that you're not completely aware of what's happening around you. You might be walking on the street and somebody might drive by with a song. So again, I'm just really getting the energy of being present this week. I have a mentor of mine, became a very good friend of mine who used to say, be where your butt is. If your butt is in the car, be there. If it's at work, be there. If it's at home, be there. If it's on a walk, be there. If it's out with your pup, be there. If it's with friends and families or you're out on a date, be there. And that could be just a simple practice, because it is in the present moment where you are right here and right now, where all the signs and the guidance and the messages are, right? We got to just look around. And I say so often, I do often get clients that are coming in for mediumship, and they tell me about a sign or something that happened that connected them with a loved one. And they say to me, is that a sign? And I'm always in a sense where I say, if you think it's a sign, if it could quite possibly be a sign, it's a sign. Quite recently, I had a client who was in the office, and I don't think she would mind me sharing this. I'm not going to share her name or anything, but she had, her dad had passed, and she was really struggling personally, and she was wanting to hear or connect from her dad. She didn't feel like he was around, and she ended up walking into her room and smelled sawdust, and then she walked into her bedroom and she smelled sawdust again, and she wasn't sure if it was a sign. And I asked her, I'm like, well, did your dad work with wood? And she said, oh yes, all the time. And so absolutely that's a sign, but I can understand where wanting it so badly, we feel like we make it up or we're not sure. I think I've shared with you in other videos, I've had some great losses just in the last 6 months. Things have just been really tough with grief, and I can understand coming from that place, even though I work with grief counseling, even though I work with connecting people with their loved ones for a living. When you're in it, it's a whole different story. So you really want to practice compassion and love for yourself and patience with that journey. Again, we can't respectfully demand our loved ones to say, okay, I'm listening now, give me a sign now. It doesn't necessarily work that way. So when we're asking, being able to take pause, being able to invite in, being able to practice that presence, your loved ones can come in, or the angels and guides can come in with initials on a license plate, or numbers, your birthday numbers, anniversary numbers on license plates, or a clock, on phone numbers, on receipts. I've literally had clients bring in receipts of the numbers that were connecting them to either the angels or their loved one's birthday. And they're like, is this a sign? I'm like, absolutely, it's a sign. So I feel like maybe you're going to need that this week. And the angels and your guides and your loved ones are saying, we're here. Remember to open up the shades and let the light in this week, and be present, mindful, open, and receptive, and it will come to you in miraculous ways. Beautiful. All right, final message of love. What does the divine want you to hear, see, feel, and know? These cards are an affirmation. There's a word, and then there's an affirmation. So this is your message of love this week. Overall message of love. These cards don't really, maybe I'm just going to split the deck and pull the card on top. I think I'm going to do that because these cards are tough to shuffle. All right. Divine love. What is the overall message of love for the Earth Angels this week? I'm going to cut the deck. I'm going to pull the card on top. Action! Awesome. So it says, my divine action, insights, love, and harmony. I am aware of my thoughts and driven by positive forces. I listen to my heart, right? That's following your intuition, paying attention to what's around you, expanding here. It says, my desire to manifest light transforms tests into growth, challenge into opportunity, and fear into love. How awesome is that? I feel like that just sums up the entire reading as we're talking about things coming up for us, right? My desire to manifest light, love, beautiful energy, unconditional love to share, transforms, tests, challenges adversity into growth, challenge into opportunity, right? Bring it on. Show me new ways. How can I learn? And again, when we're talking about the energy of Scorpio, which can unknowingly or knowingly hold on to grudges, right? Or we can all be in that energy. Remember, everybody has Scorpio in their chart in some form or another. And so we all have that vibration that can exist with us. So how can you surrender it this week and transform it into growth, opportunity, and love? Again, this talks from the fear space too. You are safe. Fear is an illusion, right? How can you transform fear into love? So if the anxiety is coming up, or you're feeling the anxiousness in your chest, if you're feeling something isn't working out, or there's resistance, being able to just take pause. Is this something I'm fearful of? Is it a pattern? Is it a loop? And where can I adjust? And so I'm just being open this week to guidance and support in a different way, which means it's not full steam ahead. It's like, look before you leap. I feel like that energy this week. All right. Well, I think that's all I have to say today. Let me close space, thanking all your guardian angels and guides, the archangels, the ascended masters, the divine mother and father, and all their holy beings of light that assisted with this guidance for you this week. Especially Odin. I'm going to ask that any healing that started continue for as long as it needs to be done. And so it is. All right, friends. So thank you for watching till the end. It helps the channel. It helps the videos go out to new people. If you're inspired and you want to support the channel, you can hit that like button. If you're really liking these messages, subscribing is always beneficial so that you'll stay connected. I will be in your subscriptions, box or button. My videos will pop up there, so check those. If I have any messages for the group, if I have any, if I can't get a reading out, if you check your subscriptions, I will usually make a post. I would like to do more posts, inspirational posts through this. That might be something that might come up, and so you can check there. If you know somebody who can benefit, you can share. Right now, I am open to groups. If you want to travel to my office, if you have a group of 3, 4, 5, 6 people, 7 people, you want to come to my office and do something. I know a lot of people are kind of chomping at the bit. They don't want to go out in big crowds, so it's nice to get friends together. Or if you have a family gathering, I could always come and do a mediumship group or divine guidance or life purpose group with a group of friends. If you're local, I'm cutting down hours on my video chats because I will be opening up my office to energy therapies hopefully in June. I've been saying I've been wanting to do it, but with all the different variants out there, it just hasn't felt safe. But I'm feeling the energy that we're in. It's time to open up my calendar to Reiki, integrated energy therapy, and magnified healing. I've always loved being a practitioner. I've always loved hands-on healing, and it's been really sad I haven't been able to do it. So in June, if you're looking to do some energy work or some healing, especially if you work in caregiving fields, keep an eye on my online calendar, because that is just going to be available by appointment and first come, first serve. So I will be limiting my hours to video chats, but if you do want to connect with a video chat and you can't find a time that's available, definitely email me. And I think that's it. I did post my link, so I will be teaching a Reiki 1 and 2 class in July, and I will be teaching an IET, or integrated energy therapy class, in Warren, Rhode Island. So if you're local, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Southern Mass, you can, drive down for one or both classes. And that's on my calendar on my website. So it's already, the Reiki class is already filling up. So I would suggest you register to claim a spot. Or like I said, if money is a thing for you, let me know so I can hold the spot, maybe work out a payment plan. But those spots are going to go fast, and I have a feeling that the IET classes will fill up too. So those are the classes I'll be doing in July and August, and I'm super excited to get those back on the calendar and get back into the classroom teaching. Oh, it's my first love. It's what I started off with. So anyway, that's enough about me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up. I love you. I love your soul. I love how you show up in the world. You are a beacon of light. And thank you. I'm glad to walk with you on this journey. God loves you so much. Trust in the divine. Trust your intuition. And I send you love with heavenly hugs. Bye for now.